Good day, ladies and gentlemen. This is Glenn Tan speaking. This time, I'm continuing to talk about Central Controller. Central Controller C52 with mixed connection of the light commercial air conditioners. This slide displays the detailed wiring for the Central Controller C52 at the same time to GMV system, FreeMatch, RAC, UMatch. First of all, here is the wiring interface of this C52. This LN is for the power supply for this central controller. Let's focus on the GMV system first. Always for the multi-system, you need to serially connect it from LV master outdoor unit G1, G2, and then connect them to the central controller. The port is here. We support GMV5, GMV6, GMV Mini, GMV Slim, and PV GMV, and also the GMV Water, etc. This is for the GMV system. As for this part, and for the FreeMatch or the RAC, we need to apply the wire controller as an adapter to change the signal from the in-dock unit to output Modbus with RS485 connection, and then you can combine them together just like this, then connect to this. And also for the UMatch, for the old model, directly from the in-dock unit PCB, it already output the Modbus with RS485 connection. Then you can combine them with the periods, which is this part, and here just connect to the central controller A3, B3 port here. For the UMatch new model, we need to apply this NE50 as an adapter, so you can change the signal from the in-dock unit to the out standard Modbus with RS485 connection. And for the GMV system, we max support 16 systems and 255 in-dock units. As for the A3, B3, this part, we only support 36. You can just count the in-dock unit, it's okay. As for the UMatch, here we just recommend to apply the crystal pumps for better connection. And also for the UMatch, once you connect to the central controller, there is no need the wire controller, but before that you need to do the adjust setting. After that, you can dismantle this wire controller. As for this F1, F2 is for the fire alarm signal. Once it will see the fire alarm, it will shut down all the online units, no matter it is GMV or this part. Last is don't forget to match the resistor 120 ohm at these two terminals here. This slide displays the detailed wiring from the in-dock unit to wire controller. First of all, here is the back of this XE72 or XE73, and here is also the back of this 3 wire controller. And what we need to do is to control the in-dock unit. And here is the wiring for the FreeMatch cassette tie, dark tie, floor ceiling tie, just from this COM menu port, this white color. And then you need to connect to here the 4 pins. As for the FreeMatch, the console tie, just find out there is a connector here, and then also to this 4 pin, either for this one or for this one, is the same. As for the wall mounted, also to find out a connector just like this, and connect to this port or this port. As for this 1, 2, 3, 4, it is the same, which is to output or input the Modbus protocol with RS485 connection. And also for this socket it is special, which means it's not that easy to find out the pins on your local market. Here I just offer you this wire just for your reference. You can purchase from our GREE, and here is the part code. This number 1 wire, and also you can find it. This pin is perfect for this socket, and on the other end is already peeled out, which is easier for you to do the connection. As for this number 2, which is from this 4-pin from wire controller to the in-dot unit, this wire, it is standard with the controller. After the wiring, you still need to do the setting on the wire controller, and this is how to do it on the SK76. Just follow this password. You can go to this page, which is this one. First is to choose the protocol. We have 2. The first is this central controller, which is this one. However, this is only for the C50. This is already obsolete. We will not use this one. We need to select this one, remote control address, and which is remote monitoring. On the other hand, also you need to change the address to be different. To identify you are from different in-dot unit is okay. The last is, don't forget to turn on the built-in resistor if this wire controller locates at the last, to ensure the communication. And also here is the dip switch, which is this one too. If it locates at the last, just turn or to change the first dip from offside to onside is okay. As for this 2-wire controller, here is how to change the address, and just follow this password to change to be different address is okay. And also the wiring here, also you can find it here. This port is connected to the in-dot unit. This 2 is the output or input RS485. Also there is a dip switch here. If this wire controller locates at the last, just change the first dip from offside to onside to turn on the built-in resistor to ensure the communication is okay. As for this 2-wire controller, you can just follow this password to change the address to ensure they are different. It's okay. And this picture is the inside PCB. This one is the built-in Wi-Fi module, which means you can control from your smartphone to this wire controller, which is to control the in-dot unit. And also there is a built-in the dip switch setting. Also the function is to turn on or turn off the built-in resistor, which means if this wire controller locates at the RS485 bus, the last one, you need to turn on the built-in resistor to ensure the communication. And how to turn it on is also the same, which is to change the first dip from offside to onside is okay. This slide displays the detailed wiring from the in-dot unit PCB. And first of all, let's focus on the old model UMatch, either for duct type, cassette type, or the floor ceiling type. Here, this 2-port is for the RS485 connection, in or out. There are only 2 pins, either yellow or blue is okay. As for the new model, you need to use this ME50, and then we offer you this 6-pin wire to connect to here, this one. And then here is for the RS485 wiring. You can choose A plus and B plus on the left for in, A minus, B minus on the right for out. As for the detail wire, you can find it this socket. For this pin is not that easy to find out on your local market, so I just offer you this part code, which is easier. You can buy from our grid to for the wiring. As for this one, you can just punch in and screw it up. It's okay. We just have the wire requirement, just like this. It should be AWG24. It's okay.
This slide is the summary of all available wire controller for UMatch. The basic one is SK117. Here is the dimensions just for your reference. What you can do is this black color, including all available functions and settings. And the difference between SK117 and this XE70, it is that this one, beside the black color function and setting, it has the Wi-Fi function, which means you can control this wire controller from your smartphone, which is to control the UMatch. As for this XE71, it is high-end. What you can do is also the black color, and we have put all available functions and settings and the parameter directly on the screen. So not like the basic SK117, this one you need to memorize the codes for different functions and parameters. You can just change the item or the parameter directly on the screen, or turn on or turn off the function on the screen is okay, but there's no Wi-Fi function. Besides, it has the multi-timer, which is convenient for the customer to control the UMatch. And also, it is available for the cassette type to individually control the lower swing. As for this XE7A, what it can do is it can group control different UMatch. Either they are the duct type, cassette type, or floor ceiling type. There's no difference. However, this is only for the 3-wire connection of UMatch, which means from the outdoor unit to indoor unit, they should 3 wires. This is for that series only. And for this one, also you need to memorize the codes for different functions and settings. And this one, actually, it is similar to the GMV wire controller, also the setting.
After the wiring, we still need to do the setting from the wire controller to ensure the central controller can control the UMatch. For this 2-wire controller, the setting is just follow this password to change the UMatch address to ensure they are different, which is to ensure this one to be different. After that, you need to select the protocol, which means to go to this 10 to change this one to bit 01, which is remote monitoring. This is for C52. Select this one. As for the 00 is for the central controller, which is for the C50. It is already also Lee. For wire controller XK75 and XE71, for this 2-wire controller, the setting method is the same, which is just follow this password. You can enter this page, which is here. And from here, you need to change 2 settings. First is the protocol to make it to be remote monitoring, which is this one. And then next is to change to be different address. And for this one, which is the central control, this is for the also lead C50. You can just select this one and change it to be different address. It's okay. For XE7A, this Y controller, which is this one, and according to the P codes, you need to change the address. Just change the address is okay, which is to long press function, this one for 5 seconds, then enter this C00, then press this function for another 5 seconds. It will enter the P00, and then you need to enter this P42 to change this UMatch address to be different from the others. It's okay. This slide is the detailed wiring for GMV system. First is the single heat pump system. You can find it for single system either from the master outdoor unit, the D1, D2, or the indoor unit, D1, D2. It's okay, then connect to this G1, G2 port, and also don't forget the match resistor to ensure the communication. And similar for the single heat recovery system, you can choose from the master outdoor unit, the D1, D2, or from this mood exchanger. From here, the D1, D2, then to the central controller is okay. As for the wiring, it is non-polarity, which means you don't need to memorize the colors for the wires. Just connect to the central controller is okay. Either cross match or the mixed match is okay. For mounted heat pump system, you need to just follow these 3 steps to complete the wiring. First is to change the SA2 setting on the master outdoor unit of each system to identify you are from different system. Just follow this table. And here is the system address to identify you are from different is okay. And also you can find it for this one, which is connect to the central controller. We recommend to make it to be all 0, which is to make it the system to be number 1. Step 2 is follow this diagram to do the wirings, which is the series connected G1, G2 from our LV master, from LV master of the systems. And also here, the step 3 is don't forget the match resistor. It is 120 ohm. Also, this is non-polarity for the CAN wiring, which is for this wiring, no need to memorize the colors of the wire. For mounted heat recovery system, it is similar to the heat pump system, which means just follow this step. First is to change the SA2 on master outdoor unit of each system to identify you are from different system. Just follow this table. Step 2 is also follow this diagram, which is to series connect the G1, G2, and then to the central controller. The step 3 is don't forget the match resistor to put it here to ensure the communication is okay.
That's all for this part of the presentation. If you still have any other question to ask or to discuss, please feel free to contact me on my personal email address.